What's up? My name's Dave Davidson, and if your trails or your bike parks are closed for the winter, but you still want to get really good and get rad on the bike, here's 5 ways to do so. Even if like literally everything is closed down, all you're gonna need is a bike and some flannel and probably some gloves in case your nose gets a little snotty so you can wipe it. Checklist complete, let's go. So the first thing you want to do is I would check out finding a little hill like this one so you can double your balance. I'm going to show you a sick drill. I've never seen this before. Everyone talks about dropping your front foot or dropping your front heel. Check this out. You want even pressure on both brakes, and you want to be able to use no pressure in the hands whatsoever. I'm balancing through my feet. You can do this even when you got your brakes on. This drill, again, will double your balance because it forces you to have heavy feet and light hands that everyone talks about, but no one knows how to do, because everyone's so worried about like just letting go with the hands. It's not about letting go of the hands. It's really just about being able to actually have something stable to stand on with your feet so you don't need to use your hands in the first place. So that's why this drill works. Now, if you want to progress this, there's some really hard versions of this. I'm sure some people have done this before. I want to challenge you with them right now. So like level one is both brakes, feet pretty level. Level 2 is one brake only. And so I would use front brake only. And just as you're dropping in, really focusing on making sure you're good. I would not let go of the bars like that, because if you do and the bike goes out in front of you, you'll let go. I'm just demonstrating like you don't really need your hands for this. You just use your feet. So if I were you, I would definitely grab onto the bars and just make sure you can G.I. Joe grip this thing like that. So it's not a big deal. All right, super turbo difficult version of this drill is going to be switching brakes on the fly as you go down. So when you're rolling down, fully engaging one brake and then switching to the other without, you see that little lurch forward right there? We want to avoid that. So just feeling all of your body weight, really just being in the, pressing in through the feet. Super quick tip for you here is just instead of having the cranks level, rotate them back a couple degrees. It makes it easier to push into it like that. If you can do brake switching like this all the way down and keeping that nice slow speed, then that's like an elite level of control you can build. This will help you on techie stuff, it'll help you on gnarly stuff, it'll help you on steep stuff. More importantly though, it just shows you how to have balance on the bike, which is pretty sweet. All right, the next is a track stand. And I am just not sure if I fit in the frame here because the camera's really close. It's the shortest length I got of focal length. The cool part about a track stand is you can practice it without, this is so tight in here, without hardly any room. Keys to a track stand are first, put some tension in your chain by putting your foot down on the front pedal and holding the back brake. The reason I don't like to hold the front brake is that I can balance myself, and you see how the front tire rotates a little bit. If you go like this, if I hold the back brake, it keeps me from going forward and backward. So the tension in the chain gets kind of counteracted by here, and then you just gotta hop on and wiggle around. So what you wanna do is turn the bars to one side and then allow the bike to fold over to keep your balance like this. All right, so just folding the bike over. And if you get where you're running out of room, again, back brake on. I'm gonna push off that and come back. Maybe you have to hop a little bit just to keep things nice and stable. But it's easier with a less slack bike. So again, if you wanna rock forward and backward, that can help. And I like little hops too. Really don't need that front brake, but you wanna see how long you can do this. I'm probably coming up on a minute here. This is a good way to practice your wheel hops, level lifts, and oh my gosh, my microphone has fallen. I'm still in my track stand, that's all that matters. I've never done a one finger grip around the world. Y'all, I'm literally just trying to do anything I can to not knock over my stuff and also stay in the track stand. Okay, we're gonna call it quits because I'm tired now. It's really hard to think of tips while I'm doing that. Probably the biggest tip is just side to side is folding the bike. And also if you have your bars kind of like 45'd out like this here or here, then if I need to catch myself by pedaling forward, I can do that, and then I can rock back. Biggest mistake I see people doing with track stands is they're like locked in one position on the bike and they just don't allow themselves to move at all. So what you want to do instead is let the bike rock forward and backward, side to side under you. It's not comfortable unless you're used to it. Let's do the next one. Probably the biggest bang for your buck move you can work on with very limited space is going to be cornering. And what I'm gonna try to do here is give you guys not just like the same thing that I've already repeated 100 times on the channel. If you want that, you can go click on one of my other cornering videos. They're pretty banger. Like, what's the one thing that if you got it this winter will make you show up at the trails next year with really, really, really good skills? I'll show you a drill here in just a second to like implement this on the bike. But what you have to be able to do is you need to be able to support the torso with the core. You need to do it in a hinge, and you need to be able to move your hips independently. It's a lot of stuff right there. So basically what you need to be able to do is this while moving these, okay? And like that, it looks goofy, but what I'm doing there is I've got my femur bone moving independently of my hip. Like that has to happen. And in order to do all this stuff, you need to be able to just like do a hip car, okay? So like this movement right here, all the way through, really slowly, 5 times a day on each and every side, opens up your cornering moves. And then also you need to have a strong core, so like anything you can do to build your core, really important. But while you're doing this, it's like you need to be able to breathe and also support this core. So like there's tension in my belly while I'm in this position, and I'm also able to talk and breathe. That's some pretty advanced stuff. Here's like the one thing that you can do is you start with the end in mind. And so you're gonna get on your bike. Now I'm gonna face you. So imagine the corners that way or that way. I'm just gonna pick a right-handed corner. So what you do is you pretend there's a straight line there, and then there's a right-handed corner here. So what you're gonna do is pop this over 15, 20 degrees, and we're gonna look over there, and you put your foot on the pedal in your normal riding position. Both brakes are on. I'm still sitting on the bike, seats down low. And then what I want to do is I want to turn, again, with this foot down on the ground. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I just want to turn with my eyes, my shoulders, my hips. Now you're going to notice that sometimes you might hit the frame there. That's okay. Just really like turn everything. And then what you want to do is stand up and fold the bike over. And move your foot around to where you can fold the bike all the way down and see how far you can lean. Oh man, my pedal. Those Cro-Mag pressures are feeling the pressure, so to speak. That was a terrible pun. So again, the purpose of this drill is to feel what it feels like to corner, which it feels kind of like this. And if you struggle to do this, it's your movement, your body. Like watch my other videos to unlock that, but you might need to move this foot around to find a spot where you can have room to move everything over. The only difference here is that this is a bit exaggerated, and I've got a chicken wing right here. So in other words, I've got an angle that way, then back out, then here. This is not anatomically strong. If you were actually cornering like this on a bike, you'd be down here like that. That's absurd. If you're cornering that hard, you're on a vertical wall ride, or you're just an absolute legend. So feeling this feeling of the bike folding under you, you've got to turn your hips. I'm looking 80 degrees from where the tires are pointed, with my eyes, with my hips, with everything. And feeling this, it's what everyone talks about when they say, oh, you got good bike body separation. If you film yourself and you think you got great bike body separation, you probably just like did that and like leaned away from the turn. That's not gonna help you. So doing that off the bike a few times, just to kind of open up the movement a few times, can really help you a ton. Then what you wanna do is hop on a bike and find like a 20-foot radius thing, and you can put down cones, make a nice semicircle, come in at a jogging speed, and then mimic that movement while on the bike. So the first thing you want to do is look and get really, really low in order to do this, but let's give it a try. Now for cornering drills like this, I just like to keep my feet kind of level, start out super low, and look all the way around. And I had to do it kind of slow there. I don't have much room. But see how much of the work you can get done just by tilting that bike over and twisting. Feels pretty good. Again, I'm barely between my two parked cars here, and it's tight. You don't have to steer with your hands or counter steer very much, just lean that bike over. And it's pretty wild how much people struggle to do this, but a lot of it is in the ankles and the feet. So doing that can help you a ton, so do it a ton. Metric ton, which by the way, the metric system, y'all so much smarter for doing that. The American system has got freedom units, but it's kind of silly. If you want to improve your jumping in the off season, you need to improve your triple extension and your control of your body much more than you need to improve your technique on the bike. So I'm going to give you a drill right now. I just want to give one warning to this video that you need to be extra careful with it. I'll show you how to progress this move, but you can actually like overcook this. This is a nervous system retraining move, not a workout. Okay, so what we want to do in order to jump on the bike is we need to be able to do something called triple extension. I've talked about it before. You need to extend your hip joint, your knee joint, and your ankle joint in a way where we push a lot of force through the feet. And you can feel this by going into a hinge and just standing up real quick as fast as you can. And notice how my feet don't go anywhere. That means that there was no force pushed through the ground. It was just kind of swung around the middle of my body. That's how a lot of people jump on their mountain bike. They do a lot of movement with light force. We need to do the opposite. We need very little movement and a lot of force. So in order to generate the force, well, first you gotta search your feelings, use the force. What you really need to do is you need to hop quickly like this. And when you do this move, it helps you get explosive. Now, instead of like standing here and doing explosive jumps, you kind of wear yourself out if you do that too much. What you do is you want to pick like a target like this. And I'm going to show you how little you have to do to really work this into your neuromuscular system, which is your brain-body connection. I'm going to stand 3 feet away, maybe 2.5, 3 feet away, and I'm going to aim for the middle of the helmet right there. I'm pretending there's like a line, and I'm going to land my toes right there as soft as I can and as smooth as I can. So it's all about the landing. And the reason why we do this is because if you can land smooth and land in control, it's baking in the movement patterns that you need to do triple extension. Just gonna take a nice, easy, relaxed breath and land there. So doing this 5 or 10 times is really all you need, once or twice a week. Any more than that, you're just kind of overcooking it. And it's about quality, not quantity. So if you're following along, it's all about that quietness. My physical therapist would yell at me. He'd say, get the heels down too. But it's about accuracy and landing like a cat. This is something, again, 5 repetitions, maybe 10. If you want to progress this, if you're already like pretty athletic, then what you want to do is add height and add distance. Or what you can do is you can go from 1 leg to 2. So for example, I can jump off of 1 into 2. And if you are in really good health, really athletic, really good balance, you can go from 1 leg to 1, 1 leg to 1, and you can also, this is really hard, 1 leg to the same leg. And if you want to incorporate some, this is like hyper advanced. So this would be maybe 1% of you guys watching the channel is doing a side leap. So this is where you build your awareness for like pumping into and out of corners. So you'd start on 1 leg, jump, and land facing 90 degrees that way. You notice how smooth and controlled I was there? Again, the goal is not to go, I mean, I can do this. It's not to go so big that you lose balance like that. I mean, that's probably like a 4 or 5 foot jump. The goal is to land as smooth as possible and stay in control for a moment. When you do this, it really does help your riding a ton. I know that's kind of a weird one, but when professional riders or advanced riders come to us, this is the kind of stuff we work on. And I swear to you, the more experienced riders, 90% of them, all they need is just that. Super basic, really easy to do. It will help you with your jumping. It bakes in the neuromuscular smoothness that you need to go out there and actually have control on the jumps and all the other stuff too.